All right, so this is the mid-season Season 1 support tier patch after all the Zarya, Diva, and Kiriko changes and whatnot. But, I feel like it doesn't really change the core of the supports. I think a couple of them change, but it's good on the list. All right, so we're starting with Brig. I think Brig's better than people think, but with how quick the game is, I don't think Kiriko's going to always be like a high tier pick. Or, I'm sorry, Brig's always going to be a high tier pick. So I'm going to put her in C. Yeah, I agree with C tier. I don't think she's the worst pick ever. I actually do think you can play Brig and kind of farm some dubs. But I think you're lying to yourself if you think there's no better picks when you're playing Brig. But you can do some work as Brig, so I'm gonna go C tier. I think B tier is pushing it. I think D tier is also disrespectful. Alright. Okay. Alright. Kiriko. I think we all know where this goes. Kiriko's just absolutely busted. Does anybody feel like you can't play Kiriko with something? Because to me, you can play her with Dive, Brawl, any other support. It just doesn't matter because she's super good at surviving. She does decent damage. Ult's super good. Suzu is extremely good. So I think just by default, Kiriko's S tier because you can play her anywhere. And she's just insane. Like, there's nothing Kiriko does that's bad. So I think that's without a doubt S tier. I think that can be agreed upon. All right. BAP. I think... Do I put BAP in A tier? I think BAP is... I'm gonna go BAP A tier. Like... I think BAP's good. Like, Sigma, he's good with. Again, if we factor everything, just Kiriko being in the game, Kiriko just outshines every other support right now. But I do think if you play BAP, you're not absolutely throwing the game as long as you don't have a tank that's not fitting with it. So as long as you have a tank that's healable, like Ryan, Sigma, Junker Queen, if you try to play BAP with Diva or Monkey or Wrecking Ball, I think you're not going to have a good time. But I think if the comp is appropriate, I think BAP actually is an okay play. I think B tier is also respectable. If you said B tier, I would be with you. I think if Kiriko didn't exist, like, BAP would be picked a lot more. But I can say that about every hero, so I'm not even going to mention that anymore. It's just the nature of support right now. It just is what it is. Lucio, I mean, S tier. Again, what it seems like with Overwatch, the game's just about speed. Kiriko ult super good, Lucio's speed super good. And just by staying alive as Lucio and just having surrounding healing, it just seems fitting, I guess, for what is going on with current metas and everything right now. So Lucio's S tier. There are places, I guess he's not the greatest if you're running, I don't know, let's say, seems like a Sigma comp or like double sniper. It is like the one time Lucio's not really that good. But I think if you one-trick Lucio, it would also be okay. I think it would just be a little bit harder if you were playing a slower comp per se. But I don't think people would argue that Lucio is also S tier. So I think these two are just far and away the two best supports to put on the record. Alright, Mercy. I am a Mercy enjoyer, but I think there's just no denying that she's not the greatest, but I don't think she's the worst. I'm gonna put her at B tier. I think she's a situational hero in a sense where if you do have a comp for it, it's actually okay. I think Mega Cope, I don't agree. I think if the comp's right, you can actually get value with Mercy. And what makes Mercy good to me right now is the sense that she actually has mobility and can survive, opposed to some other heroes. So again, what metas are right now in Overwatch Season 1, it's a lot of mobility. And the heroes that aren't mobile are the ones that tend to struggle for me and to everybody, I would think. So even though if you were playing Mercy and you weren't playing Lucio or Kiriko per se, I do think it's nice having Mercy, at least in the sense that you can survive and actually be a part of the game, opposed to playing like Brig, Zenyatta, even sometimes BAP, who just has vertical mobility, which sometimes isn't enough. So That might be Cope. I am a Mercy enjoyer. Maybe there's bias. If you said C tier, I think that's valid. She's definitely not A tier. If you said D tier, I think that's also a reach. I'm gonna hold it in B tier. Break and survive. Yeah, if you can play LOS and like disengage and stuff, but yeah. The problem is though, if a team like hard engages on you, the mobility isn't nearly as nice as Mercy's. So I'm gonna say Mercy B tier. Fight me on it. Fight me on it. All right, Moira. I think I'm gonna go Moira B tier as well. I think so. Back in Overwatch 1, people would say Moira was a throw, which I mean, that statement had some facts behind it usually. But again, talking about survivability, I think that's super important with supports. And Moira can actually stay alive and be pretty productive throughout. I mean, not as good as the S tier heroes, but I think she's really good on push. She gets back to fights quick compared to other heroes, obviously. And they're usually like small lanes. You can get good orb value. Like Coalescence is pretty good when you're in like tighter lanes. So I think map dependent Moira is actually okay. I'm putting her B just because there are times she's really bad as well. Again, like mobile tanks or like just a highly mobile team period. If Moira has nobody to heal, you're pretty much going to have to play like a flank Moira. Which isn't awful all the time. I know people hate flank Moira. But I think if it comes down to that point, there's probably just a better pick than just trying to be a flank Moira in that regard. So I'm going to go B tier. I think she's better than Mercy and Brig. I want to say she's just about a dead average hero. I think on push, she gets a little bit better. Push, I would say A tier. But other maps, depending on what the map is, B tier. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. All right, what are we down to? 2 heroes? We're flying. We are speedrunning this. All right, Ana. I'm also going to put Ana in A tier. Obviously better than all the heroes below her for the reasons that even though she's not mobile, at least in this sense, Ana can actually heal the mobile heroes on your team. She kind of is a liability in some senses if teams are playing quick. Because again, she can defend herself with sleep and nade, but if you have a whole team dedicated to hard engaging, your positioning has to be really good. But Ana, even though she doesn't have mobility, you can play back from distance and actually like sustain your team, and you can make yourself very hard to engage on. So I think in comparison to like BAP, for example, BAP can heal a team and survive, but for him to be like massively effective on healing, he kind of has to be in the play. You know what I mean? Like BAP can't do what he does from further away. So I think Ana high A, just because she does have some carry potential too, because she can do a lot of damage. Nano still is pretty good. It just became a little worse. Again, gonna complain again, when Kiriko got added to the game, because Kiriko's ult basically is one giant nano boost for your entire team. So even though Nano's still good, it's not the best anymore. But at least Ana can survive a little better than some heroes and do things effectively, even though she's not extremely mobile. So the meta is not stabilized long enough to call Mercy above D. I don't think Mercy's D tier. Again, if you think Mercy's C tier, I'll give you that, and I think that's fair grounds. But to say that Mercy is D tier, to me, it's a reach. Like, I play Mercy, and if the comp is fitting, it's doable. Double sniper, even if you have a Sojourn on your team who's popping off, if you just enable it, and you can play your life with GA, because GA is really good right now, I think it's good. Again, I don't think Mercy is a great pick, because there are very power corrupt heroes right now who kind of are like oppressive, but at least Mercy can live. Like, Mercy can live and actually play the game and doesn't need like babysat or anything. I would say these heroes are pretty equal, to be honest, depending on the circumstances. If it's a good Mercy comp, fine. If there's not good people to enable with damage boost or anything, I think Moira is just an average pick, just like a B. If you said Moira was C tier, I'm not gonna argue with you on it. I think that's fair grounds. All right, last hero. And I might have some bias here, because for those that don't know, I am a Zen main. I'm a proud Zen enjoyer. I have plenty of hours on him this season. But man, he just feels really fucking bad. I'm gonna be real. Zen feels really bad. Like he's the slowest hero in the game. He's even with snap kick, it's just obviously not even close to enough from what all the other heroes have in terms of mobility. Again, with current meta, when you're running Lucio, Kiriko, Sojourn, Reaper, Monkey, it's all about, you know, hard engages with the team, and Zen just doesn't bring that to the table. So Zen's tough. I don't think he's worse than Brig. Oh, this is hard. This is really hard. This is really hard. I'm gonna... It doesn't feel right having Brig by herself. I think Zen's a high C tier. I don't think Zen's a good pick, man. I don't think, like, maybe I'm coping because I have been having trouble with him way more than I have in the past. But when I play Zen and I play against Lucio, Kiriko, or any of that, it just seems like they get value a lot easier than Zen does. When I play Zen, if I'm not doing everything, if I'm not popping off, getting picks, and just being insane, I feel like I'm just by default being useless. When I play Kiriko, Lucio, just being involved, living, and just partaking in the game, it just feels like I don't know. It just feels like you don't have to do a lot to get the value there, compared to Zen at least. Maybe cope. I don't know. If this guy didn't come from a heavy Zen player, I would see him at B tier, low B tier. There's no way Zen's A tier. There's no way he's D tier still, because you can hard carry games if you're in a groove. And I feel like this is a pretty... What do you guys think about this list? I feel like this is a pretty... good list. 2, 2, 2, and 2. Again, I could see some flexibility if you wanted to do something like... Straight up, if you even have something like this, I would say that would be a fair assessment also. Or like this, if you don't think any support's really bad. Like, I think this is fair. I think this is fair. But I think I like where I'm at. So I think this is pretty accurate. Moira on push, since you're really kind of running like smaller lanes, Orb seems pretty good. Coalescence is easy to get value with. Push, I think it's there's usually struggles staying alive, at least from what I experienced on support. Maybe because the maps are new also. Also keep in mind maps are new, so people are still learning the maps every day, every week. So what's important to me on support in any role, you do sometimes just have to keep an open mind. Obviously, everybody on the planet wants Lucio, Kiriko, and I understand why, because to me, they're by far the two best supports in the game right now. But it doesn't mean if, say, like someone goes Brig. I've played Brig in games where I felt like I dominated. But I think if I just played Kiriko, it would have been easier. Or at least easier for my team. You know what I mean? So I think all these heroes at times are, even Zen on, if you play like Circuit Royale, sniper map, long range, like Zen on Circuit Royale probably becomes A tier. So a lot of these, some tier lists are vague. It depends on, you know, what the comp build is and stuff. But I think general surface level, I would say this is a fair list.